In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make vegan mac and cheese. Hey guys, my name is Erin Courtney, and when I switched over to a mostly plant-based diet, I was scared to death I was going to have to give up macaroni and cheese completely for the rest of my life. Is it worth living? So I started to do some researching on recipes for vegan mac and cheese. I came across a whole bunch of recipes, but one of the things that I love doing with healthier recipes is incorporating more vegetables into the sauce. And since I love using cauliflower in sauce, this was the perfect opportunity. And the first time I made this vegan mac and cheese, I used way too much nutritional yeast. Because when I first started looking it up, I was like, oh, the nutritional yeast, it gives it that cheesy flavor. I'm gonna use more. No. Nutritional yeast has a great flavor, but it's very strong. So it takes a small amount to really get that flavor that you need, and I overdid it on the first batch. And I also had to cut down on some of the other seasonings, so the second batch that I made was perfect. And you don't have to throw the green peas in with your mac and cheese, but it's something that I like as an addition to it. So you can leave the peas out or throw them in. It's totally up to you. But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe because there's going to be a lot more videos coming. Let's do this.
The most important part of this recipe is the sauce. So we're going to get started on our sauce. I've got 3 cups of non-dairy milk. I like to use oat milk, but you can use whatever milk you prefer. Get that in the blender. Next, we'll add our 1 cup of cashews that have been soaked overnight and drained. Then we'll add our 3 medium carrots that have been cooked or steamed. You just want to make sure that they are soft enough to puree nicely in the blender. And now we're going to add our cooked cauliflower. I like to get the bags of steam in a bag cauliflower. It's 10 or 12 ounces. You just cook that in the microwave. Here is where I added way too much nutritional yeast in the first batch. On the second batch, I ended up adding 3 to 4 tablespoons, and that was the perfect amount. Can't forget the other spices, which are onion powder, garlic powder, paprika, and of course some salt. Now we're going to pop the lid on this baby and start pureeing it. Word to the wise here, whenever you do puree vegetables into a sauce, you want to really get a smooth consistency. Did I mention it should be smooth? Because that's really going to help it be creamy and trick your family and friends into eating vegetables in sauce that they had no idea they were doing. My mission in life is to trick people into eating their vegetables.
When it comes to the type of pasta that you want to use for your mac and cheese, this is totally up to you. I have used just a regular gluten-free pasta with white rice as the main ingredient, but there are so many different options available for gluten-free pasta now that you have a lot more to choose from. But one type of pasta that I have discovered that is very filling is brown rice pasta. Now, brown rice pasta does not reheat well. So usually whenever I make a batch of this vegan mac and cheese, I will store the sauce separately from the noodles, because what I'll typically do is put the sauce into individual containers, reheat them as needed, and then I'll cook the pasta right when I'm ready to eat it. Since gluten-free pasta doesn't typically reheat as well as traditional pasta, I just go ahead and make a fresh batch.
When your sauce is smooth and creamy, our next step will determine what you plan on doing with your mac and cheese. Are you going to eat it right now, or are you going to save it for later? In today's video, we are serving it right now because I am hungry as usual. So I have poured the sauce into a crock pot, put it on low setting, and then we're going to stir in our cooked pasta. Just make sure you drain that pasta before you throw it in there with the sauce. And like I said before, these green peas are an optional item, but I absolutely love throwing these into my mac and cheese. That looks ready to eat to me. How about you? Cover that up and leave it on warm until you're ready to start digging in. Let's get to it. I love using a good old ladle to scoop my mac and cheese into a bowl. Look at how creamy that is. Oh, it's so delicious.
But now it's time to eat my mac and cheese. Oh, yes. You would never believe that it has pureed cauliflower and carrots and cashews in here. You'd never believe it. And although it doesn't taste exactly like traditional mac and cheese, it definitely fills that void if you're missing it. And since my little sensitive tummy is sensitive to dairy, this hits all kinds of sweet spots. My husband makes fun of me because I love soup spoons. I look for any excuse to use a soup spoon when eating, and this is a good enough excuse for me. That wraps it up for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.